we're here in Flint and in your home, and obviously it went from seeing all these changes and googly crap coming out, rashes. Were there other issues?
Hair loss. Um, there was a little bit of hair loss. Our hair's been thinning. Mostly the rashes. The our dishwasher broke immediately. There was sediment buildup. If you looked in the back of the cistern of the toilet, you could just scoop out gunk, like it would just build up. It was just this constant slimy film and sediment buildup, and growth, inexplicable growth. I mean, it just, there's always something wrong with the tiles. You're constantly cleaning. These are lead check kits. These are provided by Lead Free America. So again, another group that is using their own resources, is not coming from the government. You can use this to see if there's lead on any surface. They're just little swabs that you can take out and dab, and then if it comes up pink or red, you know that there's lead. So it's just, a safety precaution. These are things that they've been giving out, so that we can take sponge baths instead of having baths. Here's the...
Wait, you're actually taking sponge baths like a sick person, elderly person would?
Yeah, kind of like when you get out of the hospital and you're not allowed to touch water. We've actually done protests where we've had families go to Ann Arbor and, shower at folks' home in Ann Arbor because that's where Snyder lives, just to make the point that, we've got a shower. So, you either take sponge baths. When we do kind of break down and use the water, we don't have a shower filter yet. I mean, those cost thousands of dollars and they have to be replaced quite frequently. We do not ever shower in hot water. Because we've been warned not to breathe in the steam or the vapor. So we keep the door open so that, we're not inhaling as little as possible. We have cold showers, which is fine in the summer, but in the winter it's kind of cold. And you try to take as quick a shower as you can. You just dash in and dash out, and that's, as a last resort. Unfortunately for my daughter who plays soccer, it's awful. I feel so bad for her. These are the shower filters. Right now we just took our last one off. They don't last that long. They get clogged up very, very quickly.
And some of these filters, they don't really have a long shelf life, right? Like a lot of times the lead will rip right through them and you kind of have to replace them. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, the thing is that these are filters that are meant for normal water supplies. So to kind of get the odd contaminant. But when you've got a water source that has, 2,000 parts per billion of lead when you're supposed to have under 15, so you're having thousands as opposed to 15, then it's not designed to handle that.
Yeah, this isn't like your Brita filter in your fridge for your dinner party. This is lead that's tearing through these not industrial size, regular kind of filters.
Correct. So, if you put, a couple cups through, that could be the end of your filter, and you don't know. So we've been asking for, them to test the water that comes out of the filter. If they're saying that the filters are safe, then test the water. They haven't done that. So yeah, this just stopped working last week. We had to replace it. It just got clogged up and stopped moving. It stopped working. The inner mechanisms are just completely clogged with that sediment that I showed you. And so it just stopped working. Same thing happened with our dishwasher right away. It just, water can't even come through the tubes because they're just clogged and congealed with sediment.
So how are you washing clothes now?
Well, we got a new washing machine. We had to. My daughter plays soccer, so.
The question is, though, your clothes are being washed. Obviously, water is a part of that. So how do you know if the clothes are not contaminated?
Yeah. We don't, and I'm really worried about that because the diaper bank actually made a press release to not wash baby diapers in this water. I mean, I just, I don't know what to do. I just have to wash the clothes. I can definitely tell that they're not very clean, but you know, it's the best that I can do, and just kind of cross my fingers. I feel really guilty.
No, somebody should feel guilty, but not you. Um, it's outrageous.
We've got pipes that we have no idea what's behind our walls. But we do know that we're starting to see the evidence of water, you know, leaking through the walls. The area underneath the toilets is spongy, and the bathtub. I'm afraid it's going to fall through the floor because you know, clearly there's water damage. You know, at the beginning, people were afraid of talking about damage to their homes and having poison water because in the beginning there was the one of the things that they did was to threaten poor people with child protective services, so that if you had lead in your water, you were like at risk of having, or if you didn't pay your water bill for this poisoned water, that you know, that was the imminent risk. And so people were very frightened about that.
That's fucking infuriating.
And I'm thinking right now, like, crap, you guys are like filming my house falling apart. And, you know, in the back of my mind, not that that would happen or that you would do, you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what happens. It runs through my mind. Like, oh my God, what if Child Protective Services, you know, saw this, or if, you know, somebody had an agenda and use that, and that has happened.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's, you know, you talk about psychologically, it's like it's there, and you know, I feel privileged because I've got a lot of resources. I know where to find information. You know, I have a really good education, but there are people who are not like me, who are afraid to talk, who are afraid to, you know, come out, who wouldn't do this with you guys, that they're embarrassed, you know, about.
It's basically the state extorting them to stay quiet.
Absolutely.
Something that kind of comes across to me is you're a very proactive, educated, environmentally conscious mother person, but a lot of people in this neighborhood aren't. Not maliciously, they just don't have the education or whatever. So all the things you showed us, you know, the filters and all the things you're doing proactively, a lot of people aren't, because they either don't know, that's just not how they're wired, or they don't have the education, and they just kind of like
they're working 3 jobs, you know, for like not a living wage, and you know, don't have the time, right? They can't. Who can focus on that when you're busy doing everything else, just trying to survive?
So it's kind of like just wave your hands in the air and hope for the best. A lot of these people.
Yeah, I would say that that's true. Yeah, we do. With Flint Rising and Crossing Water and other grassroots organizations, we have been canvassing every weekend. So we try to go door to door and hit as many households as we can, especially in the poorer neighborhoods, or the neighborhoods that are most likely to be affected by the lead lines. And so I don't know what the number is. I would think it's in the 20,000s now that we've actually been able to go, like, literally door to door, knocking on doors saying, hey, do you know about the water? Do you have water? Do you need transportation? Do you need rides to, you know, a medical appointment? You know, can we bring you a water filter? You know, all that kind of stuff. Especially in the summer months, we were worried that people were shut in, you know, without access to clean, safe water. So that's the community. That's regular, ordinary, everyday folks making sure that other people are taken care of. It's not the government, you know. It's not the national nonprofit groups that are working. It's there's a lot of folks that are coming together, forming these coalitions to take care of one another.
And just in terms of Flint, we talked earlier about how when you were growing up, you remember it, you know, well and nostalgically, and because of a lot of austerity and union busting and trade deals gone offshore, it became poorer and a symbol of kind of what Bernie talked about, the disappearing middle class. Do you think that this lead crisis, which is still a crisis, never changed from a crisis, ultimately, do you think it's just like they don't care? The federal, state, they just don't care about people from this area. I know that's a simplistic way of saying it, but it seems to me it's a very black and white. From what I'm seeing in the last 2 days, they're not doing much for you. And we've already established it would be quite different if this happened in a more wealthy area.
In a more affluent area, yeah, because there are communities in California that had just, they found they had a problem with water and they just fixed it, like instantaneously, like the next day. So, yeah, they don't care for us, but I think they are the corporate interests that it's the corporations that are putting profits before people, and I think that's on every level in the government, in nonprofit organizations, in community groups. It depends on who your interests are. Like, are you do you care about human beings, or do you care about the bottom line?
I'm an optimist, so I believe President Obama will be watching my series in full. What's your message to him?
Well, first he needs to free Leonard Peltier, but he needs to send in the Department of Justice to do a complete investigation of everything that's been happening, and to follow up with that, and to press criminal charges, and to get the infrastructure replaced, and to make sure that people have universal health care to deal with the poisoning that's been done to them.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.